Hello and welcome to another year, fourth consecutive year actually, of 15 days of breakaway roping. I am your host, Jordan Jo Hollabaugh, and I am so excited to bring you our fourth consecutive 15 days of breakaway. I keep saying it, I just pinch myself. I love this time of year. It's a little better than Christmas for me because we get to talk about breakaway roping all day long for 15 straight days. Kind of a big deal. And, I'm just so excited. Over the past 3 years of doing this, we've had over 75,000 people listen to this specific series. So I just want to say a huge shout out to all of our listeners out there. Thank you for your support. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for helping In the Loop podcast grow. This year is going to be great. I think probably the greatest year ever. Absolutely. We have some really cool things coming down the pike. And I just want to say a huge shout out to our partners this year because I absolutely could not do this without them. This series of 15 Days of Breakaway 2024 is brought to you by Wrangler. Wrangler butts drive you nuts. And we also have other partners such as Patterson Garage and Trailer Repair in Springtown, Texas, Rattler Ropes, Pro Fantasy Rodeo. Go get that breakaway team, y'all. WRWC, the Women's Rodeo World Championships. We've got some really cool questions coming, Fancy's Burning Questions. And Rodeo Now. Upload all of your rodeo videos and have them in one place. I'm excited to be a part of this year's 15 Days of Breakaway. It's really special to me. So thank you guys again for listening. If you have any questions for me, or if you would like to give us any input, I would love to know what you think about these breakaway roping series episodes. And if you have any breakaway roping questions, period, email me at jordan@inthelooppodcast.co. And I will get back to you and answer all of your questions. Make sure you share these episodes with all of your friends. We appreciate your guys' support and helping In the Loop podcast grow. So with no further avail, let's get to it. 15 Days of Breakaway 2024. Here we come. Okay, guys, we are back with another episode of the 15 Days of Breakaway series brought to you by Wrangler this year. So excited to have our friends and partners at Wrangler on board. And we are here today with number 2, Josie Conner, coming in for her third consecutive NFBR with $139,098. Josie, thanks for coming to the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, Miss Jordan.
What an amazing year you've had. It's been awesome to watch you this year and just super fun. But I don't want to steal your limelight. So tell me, how's it been going?
This has been by far the most fun year I've ever had rodeoing. I know I have had a lot of success this year, prior to the past 2 years, but it's just been like a full circle moment. I got back on Dutch this year because I rode Dutch my rookie year and didn't ride him my second year. And so I felt like that was a full circle moment, like kind of coming together as a team this year. And then, obviously my parents went out there with me again, and we get to see Riley a lot out there. But this was by far the most fun I've ever had. This was the most success I've ever had. I think Dutch has a lot to do with that. I think he's great. And it's been a really blessed year, and I'm just ready to Vegas can't come fast enough.
You're ready for it to be there. And congratulations. You and Dutch have won the AQHA Horse of the Year for the breakaway. So congratulations on that as well.
Thank you. Thank you to all the breakaway ropers who voted for him. Obviously the top 25 in the world gets to vote and play a part in that. And so it was really special that y'all thought he was as special as I thought he was.
Well, it was just like you said, full circle year. Man, it was fun to watch, and you could tell that you were having fun. So talk me through that in going at this year. Obviously, like you said, you've had so much success in the years past. This year was different. Talk about having fun. Did you go in having fun? Talk about how you came out of the winter rodeos. And then, it just seemed like you set a match this summer, and it was just like a wildfire until I guess October 1st.
Yes, ma'am. I always have fun roping, but the summertime was a little different this year on the fun level, but we'll get to that anyway. So I started the winter off really slow. I think I came out of like the end of March with like 11,001. So like after Austin, I had 11,001, which is not a whole lot. I'm pretty sure Jackie probably had 60 or 70,000 at that time after her win at Houston. And so if you would have told me now or if you'd have told me then I would have been in the position I was in now, I probably wouldn't have believed you, because I really just didn't realize how much money you could win in the summertime. I know Shelby had always got, had got hot the year before and kind of had a summer like I've had this year, and she won a lot, but I didn't really know if we would do it again. And so I had a good week, the week of, like the week in May, where it was Window Rock, Woodward, Oklahoma, Weatherford, Texas, Coleman, Texas. I had a pretty good week that week. I won 2 rodeos that week. Sorry, I fast forward a little bit. I also did good in California. I had a good California. So after April and May, I think I had about roughly 30 something thousand in the standings. And so I won about 100,000 this summer. So I left the second week. Yeah, I left the second week in June, and I started off at North Platte, and then North Platte, Nebraska, and then went to Vernal. And then it just kind of rolled on from there. I think the fourth was, I went to Prineville. I set an arena record at Prineville coming down the lane. I was the high money winner over Cowboy Christmas. Then the next week was Sheridan. I won the average at Sheridan. And then I wasn't the high money winner over the Utah week. I think Martha was the high money winner, but I was second over like Salt Lake City, Ogden, Spanish Fork. I won second at Spanish Fork, placed at Ogden, placed in the average at Salt Lake City. I didn't do any good in the perfs. And then I actually came back home, kind of regrouped. And then I went out for Dodge City, and I placed at Dodge City. And then after that should have been the first week of August, and I won 1 rodeo a week in August. So I started out at Lovington, the 1-header at Lovington. Then I went to Caldwell and won the 3-head average at Caldwell. And then I won the 2-head average at Kennewick. And I won the 3-head average at Ellensburg. And Ellensburg is like, I don't know, the most fun memory of it. Like, I took over the lead in the world standings at Ellensburg, but throughout the whole summer, I really feel like I was just kind of making practice runs and winning big. And then when it kind of came down to Caldwell and Ellensburg, I think I found my range and how far I could throw it. And then I got to throwing it a little far, but it was still working. And so it was really fun. If I would have missed those shots, I would have probably, been really mad that I threw right there, but it worked. So, and then, I didn't really have a great September, but I still managed to end up number 2 in the world with a chance to win a world title coming into Vegas. And that horse was just really, honestly, as good as he could be. He got a little bit tight, just a little bit reading it kind of at the end of the year, but I really didn't work him, not one time, except when I came home in July after Cheyenne. And so, that's kind of something that I learned for next year. I maybe need to get out there and just make some runs for him every once in a while, just to remind him that your job is to run all the way to the calf. But like I said, I was getting a little reachy, and he was getting a little, I guess, confident in my ability to reach. So, I'm really excited for the finals. I think I've ridden him there, and I think he's going to be great this year. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, and I think that one of the most neat things is that I can hear the excitement in your voice, but I've seen you rope that way all year long this year. And it's been fun to watch. You have literally dominated. And, as I hear you talking about all your wins, it's like not just, 1-headers. You won consistently at these averages. And like you said, your horse, you didn't get to practice all year long, which your horse is very, we'll say snug. We'll use that word. But he loves to get in the ground fast, and he is a little tight sometimes. And so for you to be able to pull off these average wins consistently is huge in my book, and not just one time, over and over and over again. So talk about the mentality that you've had that's changed from years past to this year in going at, you said, I was just making practice runs. Why did you change from what you were doing to just having fun and going at it this way?
So, the first 2 years I've obviously made the NFR twice, but I just felt like the whole time, the first 2 years, it was just constant battle and constant struggle. And so like coming out of the winter this year, I thought, man, I hope it's not going to be another year like I've had. And then I went to California and, I had some success in California. And then, I really just thought, man, I really think that this horse is legit and that I just had a lot of confidence. I don't want to only talk about Dutch, but that's really just where my confidence came from.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I really didn't break a lot of barriers this year, and I've never really had that a lot. Like I was hitting the barrier a lot, and so I really found my confidence in my scoring. And if I was hitting the barrier, he was giving me the throw. And so I think just for so long in June and July, I just was hitting the barrier and I was running to the calf, and we were still winning a lot because he can break the rope so fast. And then I just was seeing the same throw. And then I was like, well, I think I can get him before. I think I can get him to swing before. And then, I just kind of started taking that throw some at the end of the year, and it was working. And so, I was just rolling with some confidence. And, in hindsight, I wish I would have done a couple things different. But the thing about Dutch is that yes, he is a little snug, but if I would ride him correctly 100% of the time, I really truly believe that he wouldn't be. Dutch is if you make a mistake, he's going to show it. And so like, it's funny because fresh off of the Horse of the Year announcement, first place I came back was the Oklahoma's Richest, first place he went to. And he literally left me swinging it the first time. So I'm just like, first of all, we have a big head. And second of all, I must have been riding. Like I just made a move from the front to the back, and that's not going to work. Tonka, when I can get away with it on Tonka sometimes. And, I'd been practicing for the match. And so I guess that's where it had been. I'd been making that move a little bit, even though I shouldn't be. I could just get away with it. And I could not get away with it on Dutch. So that just goes to show you, I think that it's something that also I need to progress as a roper in my roping. That's something I need to progress in, is trying to ride that horse correctly 100% of the time.
Absolutely. Well, and this is one of the most humbling sports a person can ever do. If you want to be humbled, be a breakaway roper. It can happen instantly. And, I think that it's really neat to hear you talk about just the awareness that you've got about your horse and about your riding. And, that was a transition from riding Tonka, which you won. I mean, I don't even know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars on, to transitioning to Dutch, which they're completely two different style of horses to me. And so I think that is really a strong point as a roper, to be like, hey, this is what I can get away with here. This is what I can't. And it's just such a learning process. But I want to talk about your scoring, because that's one of the things that anytime they called your name, I'm like, I'm watching Josie to see what she's doing in the box. She's scoring outstanding. What did you do different scoring this year in the past? It seemed like all summer long you were nailing the barrier. How did you build that confidence in the box and scoring? And then, like you said, you hit the start and you had the throw.
Yeah. So coming out of the junior opens, I felt that the way I scored then was a whole different way that I scored now. And I also feel that's why I kind of struggled coming into the pros, is because that's something that I learned along the way. So kind of in the junior roping, like I feel like, or at the jackpots and stuff, I feel like that you can kind of go on the gates and pull, drop. And then the calf's right there, because most of the barriers are 3 under. And that's the way Tonka scored. So that's the way that I scored. And I tried that my rookie year on Dutch, and obviously that really didn't work. And then we regrouped, and I really just feel, I'm not saying that you can't float in the box, and I do. I just try not to do it all the time. I try, he scores. He scores so good. I mean, he looks at the gates, and when you're dropping, he gives you 1 or 2 slow steps, so you have the decision to pull if you need to. And then when he hits running, he's running and he's right there. And so, I really don't know. I didn't come into this year saying I want to score perfect every time. It was just something that happened between the partnership of Dutch and I, and it just was working. I just felt that I would give the start that I wanted, and I was hitting the barrier every time. And so, a lot of the times I kind of wouldn't, I mean, obviously I would game plan, but like I would look at my calf and say, oh, if he's going to be slow or not. But really, I just was filling it out the whole time. Like I just was going off of what it felt like.
Okay, y'all. So it turns out winter is here. It's that time of year again, and yet we are still breakaway roping. So what do you do to try to keep your ropes feeling as consistent as you possibly can? You put the Regulator Pro in your rope bag or your rope can. What is it? It is a heated pad that you can stick in your rope bag. You can stick it in your rope can. You plug it in to a cigarette lighter, to a wall plug, and your ropes feel amazing in the wintertime. I love it. I have one in all of my rope bags, in all of my rope cans. I take it with me everywhere, and it keeps your ropes feeling as consistent as possible. So if you want to get one today, check out the website, regulatorpro.com, and you can use my code JordanJoe to save 10%. It is one of the best $100 investments that you will ever make to get ready to be successful and set yourself up the next time you back in the box. Now, speaking of that, let's get back to some breakaway rope and talk. That's one of the things, as you say, the partnership you guys had and going through what it felt like. That is such a cool experience as a breakaway roper. I felt that too when you start to build that confidence with your horse, and then you start to figure out run by run, and then you kind of shut out everything else that's going on. And it's just like, how can I challenge myself each and every run to do better here, focus more there, be ready quicker, all the things you can fine tune. And it's pretty fun to hear just that story. Man, what a cool year.
Yes, ma'am. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I get excited just thinking about it. It's been fun, and I'm ready to finish it.
You're like, ready. Yeah. Okay, so we're doing a fan question this year. We let our fans submit a question. The question for you is your support team. Your mom and dad obviously go with you, have been there the whole way and continue to do that. Also, you are dating Riley Webb, which I really struggle to talk about you guys being this power couple because I'm like, it takes away from Josie. Josie ropes better than Riley. It's no big deal.
Oh God!
Make sure he hears this podcast. So, but the fan question is: Riley Webb, Jade Conner, Wendy Conner being in your rig. How does that set the tone and the atmosphere for a winning rig that carries over into the arena?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a firm believer in. I think I live it. That who you surround yourself with matters. Your circle matters. I just know that there's a lot of rope and knowledge between my dad and Riley, and so I really should never be unsure when it comes to roping. And a lot of my confidence comes from that. I've actually learned a lot of my confidence from Riley. I don't really think. I mean, you can teach confidence, but confidence is something that you find yourself. But being able, I mean, Riley and I practice every day side by side. I see the ins and outs of my career and his career. And so it was cool to be able to mimic things. Like, it wasn't things that he told me. It was things that I just like see him do. And then I do it as well. Like, Riley has a really good mental game. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's hard in the summer if things aren't going your way. And Riley really didn't have the best summer for him. But he was still like, it just didn't matter once he got in the box. Like, he forgot all of that and he was ready to blast one if he could, and so that was something that I really took away. And when it comes to my dad's like my security blanket when it comes to roping. Obviously he's taught me everything that I know about roping, and he's been here the whole time, and it's really cool that my mom and my dad get to still come with me. I know that that's not everybody's situation, and so I'm really blessed for mine. And but my dad this year, he was, even some people would, come say stuff to me. Sometimes they would be like, man, your dad's just kind of quiet and he just kind of lets you do your thing. And he really did this year. He had a lot of fun because I was having success. But he just would be like, every once in a while he'd be like, hey, what do you think it is? And I'd be like, I'm making this up here. And he would be like, well, I really don't think that's gonna work. So we would maybe, he's just there, just like he doesn't interrupt my flow. But if he sees something that kind of concerns him, he's just like, maybe we should try this different. And if he says maybe, then I think probably I should do it. That's his way of hinting to me that I should probably change something. But man,
when he says maybe, that means I'm right and you're wrong.
Yeah, 100%. But he's just like, you're an adult now, so I'm trying to just let you do your thing and not tell you what to do. But maybe means do it. So, but yeah, it's been super fun, and I'm super blessed. I think that it's really cool it's a testament to my dad and his coaching ability that Riley and I are where we're at in our careers. I think he's played a big hand in both of them, and it'd be really cool if we could both get a gold buckle, but there's a lot of things that would have to happen for that, and so we're just going to take it one calf at a time.
I love that. Well, and that's one thing, we just came off of the Oklahoma's Richest, and we went to the Kimes Ranch $1 breakaway. You also matched Sarah Angeloni there. And I had the privilege of watching that match and then getting to interview you guys at the end of the day. And I literally sat up top, got my notes. Nobody was around me. I'm like, I'm studying this match, right? Between Riley and Haven, as well as you and Sarah. And I was so impressed by so many different things. But one of the biggest takeaways for me was, you set out and you roped your rope in over and over and over again. Nothing really strayed you, it seemed, from the stands. And you were going halfway in the match. It's a 10-head match, 5 in. You and Sarah had both caught 5. You're behind by 2.5 seconds. And Sarah had been hitting the start and, throwing it right there. And you'd been hitting the start too. A couple of your calves run. You had to run one down there and rope them. But I just watching you, it was really cool to see. You never got out of your element. You never stepped out of your game. You kept roping your rope in no matter what was going on. How you've won that match every time they've had it, which they're probably going to start calling it the Josie Conner match. But how do you create that mental strength and atmosphere of not letting the storyline affect what's going on in your head, in your mind, in the box, roping the calf. And I use that example. You've done it all year long. That was just one that's fresh on my mind that I really got to watch and study you for 10 calves. You didn't let anything affect you. You didn't let anything take you out of your game. How have you created that in your roping?
Yes, ma'am. In the match roping specifically, I've roped enough match roping. This was my 4th match roping there. So this is my 5th or 6th match roping total. I've roped 2 other ones other places, and I've learned enough to know that if you stay behind the barrier and you catch all 10, you're probably going to win the match roping, just because it is hard for breakaway ropers to do that sometimes, because on the rodeo road, we're not just worried about staying behind the barrier and catching. We're worried about hitting the barrier and winning money. So it's hard to transition into like a match roping mindset. I have a lot of fun during the match ropings. I feel like I'm in this zone, and like nothing really affects my zone. Like the only people I even hear when I match rope are my dad or Riley. Like other than that, if anyone talked to me, I probably would seem rude and wouldn't acknowledge them, because I just don't, like, it's just a zone. I don't know. It's weird that it's like that. But yeah, I was getting beat at the half of the match. I had run 1 to 4, but 4 seconds, but still Sarah was getting me a couple tenths of run. She was hitting the barrier. She honestly roped outstanding. And, I just kind of think that goes to show horsepower helps a lot in the breakaway. Like, obviously her horse Dingo is better than Tonka. Tonka's a little older now and is not probably getting to the calf quite as fast as her horse was. And so it's cool to see, like, that's where the time goes. Like, I think that's where she was getting her couple tenths for me, was hitting the barrier, and her horse was getting there a little bit faster than Tonka. But, so that was cool to just be able to analyze that as a breakaway roper. But anyway, I just tried to make my run every time. And I wish that I would I know the runs that I was making in the match probably aren't going to win anything in a one-header. But I wish that I would take a little bit of my match roping on to Dutch, because I really do think that a lot of the times, if I stay behind the barrier and I catch the calf on Dutch, he makes up so much time that I still win checks. And so I wish I would get just a little bit back into that for Dutch's style, because that just kind of all ties in back to the fact that if I would ride him like that all the time, like, that's just something that I think I need to work on. So, it was cool for me to get in the match and get that feel again and say, hey, maybe you need to start doing a little bit more of this XYZ, on Dutch. And so it was a cool learning experience. It was a lot of fun. Thank you to CM Productions for always, having the breakaway match, featuring it. They're one of the only ones that do it. And so I think it's really cool, and I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch and, just study and like you said, observe. Both of y'all roped great. The horsepower was great. It was super fun. You don't get to see women match very often. And so I love that event as well. Are you going to take some of that into your NFBR this year and your strategy planning for the NFR? What does that look like?
Yes, ma'am. I definitely would like, I mean, I know everybody says this, they want to get all 10 roped at the NFR, but, I really truly believe that, whoever wins the most money at the NFR is going to win the world title, because the breakaway roping is so tight. And so I just feel that with my horse and in my situation, if I really do just don't miss and don't break the barrier, that I'm also going to win a lot, because he clocks so fast. And so really just at home, I'm just trying to minimize the mistakes and minimize the bad throws, and just try to be roping as solid as possible, because always when I get back on Dutch, I feel like the little gamer inside of me comes out and I want to go fast. So I'm just trying to hone that in and just get all the fundamentals correct going into the finals. But it's not just the finals. We next here pretty soon we'll have to leave to go to the Phoenix rodeo, the Hondo rodeo, and then right before the NFR we have the Kimes $1 million roping in Scottsdale, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun and really good watching. So as a breakaway roper, we have a lot of money in the next month, and so just trying to get sharp and stay on top of my game for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, isn't that so cool just to say, as a breakaway roper, we have all these chances for money that's coming up within the next month. The Kimes $1 million breakaway has put $1 million into the breakaway. The qualifying jackpots paid $6,000 in the rounds, $12,000 in the average. I mean, that's just so cool.
Yeah, it is. It is really cool. The time to be a breakaway roper is right now. Like there's so much opportunity for us, and I hope it continues to keep going like that.
Absolutely, me too. So, as you're talking about yourself being a gamer, let's talk about pro fantasy a little bit. And I want to do this a little bit different this time. We always talk about pro fantasy and getting your NFBR breakaway roping team because they have their own PFR game. But let's talk a little bit about horses this year. I did tell you a little bit earlier, your fellow Louisianan, not really sure how you guys say that. I said fella. That's probably not correct. Shane Fry won last year. He walked away with $10,000 being the PFR Breakaway Fantasy Champion, and you were on his team. Did he let you in on any kind of bonus or anything there?
He did not. I didn't even know about it till you told me about it. But I really can't say much because it was probably not me who carried the team.
Oh my goodness. Well, I just think it's so much fun to get to do this. And most of the families that we are around, we talk to breakaway ropers all over this 15-day series about how their families play. Some individual breakaway ropers play themselves. Kelsey Domer, she's a little competitive. She had like 3 or 4, 10 teams, but
that's hilarious.
If you were going to pick a team, let's focus on horses. Your horse of the year, Dutch. We've been talking about horses this whole session. If you were going to pick a team based on horses only, what would your strategy be?
How many do you get to pick?
You get to pick 5 girls. Then you also
girls.
have to pick a tiebreaker, which is unlimited, but you have $350,000 salary cap to pick 5 girls.
Got you. And so straight off of horses.
Straight off of horses.
So I don't have the money in front of me, but I'm going to say that what does Shelby start with?
150.
And then it goes down to
it goes down to 10,000.
Goes down by 10,000. Okay. So as much as I love Shelby and Anna, I probably can't give my whole 150 right off the bat. Just because that's a lot. But I do have to take Dutch. So
yeah, you better take Dutch.
Yeah. So okay, I'm at 210.
Okay.
Let's do Haley and Red Light.
They are 40,000.
Minus 40,000. Then let's do what's Martha at?
Martha is at 100.
Okay, let's do Martha. So
Okay.
that's how many have I picked? 3?
3.
I have 70,000 left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who is worth 70,000? I know I need to split it up. That's why I'm asking.
Ricky Fanning at number 9.
At number 9. Let's do Macy Young, and then you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Are you riding Cookie?
I am not going to ride Cookie this year. Probably be riding Leonard and or Frankie.
Frankie's the Bay.
Frankie is the sorrel. Leonard is the bay.
Leonard is the Bay. I like Leonard a lot.
Thanks. He's excited to be going back to the NFR this year. So first time be riding him there. So it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I love your horse team. Awesome. Macy Young's horse. He is so powerful and he can run so fast too. And obviously Martha, Dutch, and who else did you pick?
You.
Oh yeah, me. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
No big deal. No, so I think that's fun, but it is fun with the Pro Fantasy. We really appreciate them for supporting Breakaway. Just got my PFR cap in the mail. So that's really, really fun. Everything they do for the Breakaway Ropers, and they are always supporting us with everything they do. So we appreciate them. Okay, we also have a new fun game called This or That. And it is the WRWC Fancy's Burning Questions, which I'm getting tired of these because now I sing Reba McEntire's song Fancy in my head all day long. So I'm really glad these are going to be over. No, I'm just kidding. But the way it works is I'm going to ask you 10 this or that questions. You are going to get 10 VRQ bucks. Pucks, got a little tongue tied there, per question. So you're going to end up with $100 to nominate for your next women's rodeo event. And I know you go to a lot of women's rodeo events, WCRAs. They have paid over $800,000 at their event in May. It's going to be over probably $1 million this year. I mean, like you said, now is the time to be a breakaway roper.
Yes, I never miss out on the women's finals. It's a great event and it pays out a lot of money to women athletes. And so we support it 100%. I'm ready for the game.
100%. Okay, here we go. Number one, who do you text the most?
Riley.
Oh, thought it'd be Wendy. Okay.
It might, honestly.
What is your favorite brand of jeans?
Kimes.
Wrangler. What is your favorite meal to eat while you're on the road?
Panera Bread.
Oh, good choice.
Yep.
What was your last impulse buy?
It's been closed lately. It's been closed for the NFBR. It's bad. Fashion clothes to the perf. Yes.
Getting ready to cheer on Riley Webb.
Yes.
Okay, cool. What skill are you proud of?
Planning.
Planning. I love it. Cool, me too. Do you have sticky notes and highlighters?
I have a note app in my phone.
Oh God, you're young, techie. Okay. If you could be invisible for one day, what would you do?
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know. That's interesting. That's hard. What if other people answered?
I can't tell you that.
Why?
Because it's confidential.
Be invisible for one day. I don't know. What, can you do things while you're invisible?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. You're invisible. Nobody's going to see you.
Have to take a trip to the bank. Go get some money.
Get some money to buy more Dutches.
Yeah.
If your breakaway horse could talk, what would he say to you?
Why are we practicing right now? What are we doing out here?
Oh, that's great. Okay. Have you ever fallen off at a rodeo?
No, I have not.
That's good. I've fallen off in the goat tying just once or twice or 10 times. No big deal.
Oh, I'm sure I have that in the goat tying forever ago. I don't know. I might not have went fast enough down the arena. My dad used to turn around in the alleyway if I didn't whip because he said I was going too slow and he got tired of watching. So.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
What is your favorite summer rodeo?
Either Reno or St. Paul.
Good choices. Okay, and last and final question. What is your last Google search?
Let me look right now.
This one's my favorite.
Flights.
Flights. Where are you flying to?
Kind of boring. I was helping my mom look for flights for Vegas, actually.
Oh, cool. I'm glad Wendy gets to go in style out there. It's about time.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Well, congratulations. You're now $100 richer. And you can nominate for your next women's or WCRA event, which I'm sure you will be doing at Vegas.
I sure will. Thank you so much. This has been a lot of fun.
One more question for you, and I will let you go. Last question of our 15 Days of Breakaway series. Who do you look up to and why?
I look up to both of my parents because I just think that both of them just have always set the best examples and shown me by their actions. And my mom is one of my favorite people in the whole world, and she's a great human, and she's got a great work ethic, and my mom knows how to get things done, and so I'm trying to learn that from her. And so she's definitely been one of my biggest role models in my life. So yeah.
I love that answer. Your mom is amazing. She helps all of us. Thank you, Miss Wendy, for all the videos all year long. We love and appreciate you. And she always smiles. Every time you see her, she's smiling at you. So makes your day better. But Josie Conner coming in at number 2, 139,000. Congratulations for making your 3rd consecutive NFBR. And thank you for joining us on our 15 Days of Breakaway show.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.